Now, I know the elephant in the room is my haircut. I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about how absolutely god-awful, horrendous the Black Ops 7 campaign is. You probably didn't even know there's a campaign, and they knew it was so bad, it's not even called a campaign. It's called a co-op campaign. You're actually meant to play it with friends. I did it on single player because I have no friends, and it was just one of the most grueling, painful experiences. It's just embarrassing. Like, even if you played this with a group of people, I know co-op usually makes everything better, it wouldn't save this. Yeah, remember like when they had airstrikes as kill streaks? Remember that? Now it's machetes. First off, it is the most anti-COD campaign imaginable. The campaigns are usually known for like their difficulty. Like for example, World at War, one of the best COD games. You play that on Veteran, you're being spammed with grenades every 5 seconds. Going back even further to like Call of Duty 4, enemies would actually infinitely spawn, so you would have to push forward. That's why the COD 4 campaign on Veteran is one of the hardest campaigns, because you can't just sit camping in a corner. You have to push forward at some point to stop the enemies from spawning. But this campaign, it has no difficulty, and that doesn't sound too bad. That's probably like the smallest gripe I have with it. It's more the fact that this campaign basically rides off of Black Ops 2, and if you remember, Black Ops 2 had arguably the best single-player campaign ever. It was the only one that I can think of where you had multiple choices that would actually affect the ending. I'm not talking about like COD World War 2 or whatever it was, where you poison someone's glass and then they swap it around and stuff like that. I'm not talking about small choices. Black Ops 2 had insane choices that would affect the ending. Like, for example, that pivotal scene when you were playing as Farid, like an agent for a single mission. Do you kill the big bad guy, Menendez, or do you keep your cover by trying to sacrifice one of your squad mates, Harper? Obviously, we know how that plays out. If you try and shoot Menendez, he already suspects you're a bit of a rat, so you get killed, and then you're actually locked into the bad ending. But then if you sacrifice Harper, Farid actually lives, and much like hours later into the game, he actually takes a bullet to save this hacker character called Karma. And you need her to get the best ending, because in Black Ops 2, if Menendez was killed, he becomes a martyr. But if he stays alive, he rots in prison, and Karma obviously has the hacking ability to keep him in prison. Otherwise, if she's dead, he'll just break out, and then in a really sad scene, he ends up killing Woods. You know, the old guy in the wheelchair.
I'm ready to roll, baby! What the f***? Oh, that's Nah, I'm just lazy. Let's go kill this thing! Hoorah! Double time!
Black Ops 7 has none of this. And honestly, you know, the fact that there's no multiple choice, no multiple endings, I don't mind. Like, we've gave up on, you know, really well-written COD campaigns at this point with multiple choices and different outcomes. That's fine. But it nostalgia baits you constantly over the course of its like 4 to 5 hour campaign. And also playing through it, I have never experienced more brain dead AI. Like a great example, in Call of Duty, there's dozens and dozens of enemies. If you get a good headshot, you can instantly kill them. Not like this. Like the single player campaign just looks like a reskin of Warzone. What? No, why have they got health bars now? Enemies have health bars. There are zombies in the game now. Like, I know, for example, Black Ops Cold War had this one mission where you were kind of like tweaking out and stuff. And, you know, there was like mannequins and zombies. Because Black Ops Cold War, if you remember, it tried to do a little bit of everything. There was like an espionage mission where, you know, you snuck into this like government expo. It tried to do a little bit of everything, like a jack of all trades, like master of none. Like, you know, had a bit of stealth. It's obviously not as good as Dishonored. But Black Ops 7 tries none of that. Half the game you spend in a Warzone map, like an actual map in Warzone. Even when you beat the game and the credits roll, it automatically forces you to go into a Warzone match. I thought it was like a continuation of the campaign until I saw like everyone else kind of running around. Honestly, the only saving grace I can say for this entire game is I stumbled across one character who had a really fat ass. Holy hell, that ass, Jesus. I got commission out of her. No, anyways. Again, I know it's meant to be a co-op campaign, and to be fair, I did handicap myself by playing it single player, but like the fact that the game allows you to play it single player, they should accommodate for that. But enemies are so spongy. It like they take 4 to 5 headshots later on in the game. You could be dumping like 2 entire mags into someone just to kill them. And if you're not getting headshots, there's no point. That's why throughout the game, like DMRs, semi-auto snipers, they're basically the only way that you can finish the game. And again, like COD campaigns are meant to be grounded, right? You know, like COD World at War or COD 4, and it got more ridiculous over time. But then in the single player campaign, there's kill streaks, there's these introductory cutscenes of characters who I have no idea who they are. They probably made like a cameo in like Warzone or something like that. So half the campaign takes place inside this Warzone map, and it is just so empty and it's so dead. You'll see like little groups of soldiers and stuff. You're basically just playing an offline version of Warzone, which is as boring as it sounds. There is no side content. You could probably run to somewhere that isn't the objective and you could find some guys and maybe there's like a weapon crate where you can get like a, you know, a slightly better version of your gun. There's no point. There's no point. You just want to beat the campaign or like not even bother at all. And I think the most disappointing thing about it is it includes so many characters from the Black Ops series. Like you've got Woods, who makes a cameo. You've got Section, Alex Mason, David Mason's son. Even David, like Mason, who you played as in Black Ops, like he makes a cameo in the game, and you think like, oh, this is really cool. Like the guy that you played as, the guy that set up Black Ops. Obviously, he's not voiced by Sam Worthington anymore, who voiced him in the original. He left like quite a while ago. Probably realized how bad the franchise had gotten, but more than likely he asked for more money, and Activision said no. But these scenes that should be like full of nostalgia and like, oh, I remember this. Like there's even this scene of like, I remember, I think it was in the intro of Black Ops 2, you've got like a young Alex climbing a tree and he falls, and then, you know, his dad Mason has this talk with him like, you know, you need to get back up.
Dad, I'm scared. I need help.
You're 7 years old, David. Stop acting like a baby.
And then they reused that in the Black Ops 7 campaign, and it's just like this memory that you have to protect while like kiting zombies like you're playing like Kino de Toten or something. Activision fell off. Yes, they did. It just blows me away how they've taken like so many memorable characters and they've just tarnished their memory. And they also do that thing a lot in the game. And I know this isn't only like a Black Ops 7 thing. It's a huge problem that I have in current video games. You know, when you go to like an area and then, you know, because they don't really want to animate the cutscenes, they want to save time, you'll just have these silhouettes of characters talking to each other and they'll be like kind of transparent, like ghosts and stuff. So bored of it, genuinely. It was a good trope, but it just got overdone. This is in so many games. Like, it is an actual plague at this point. I just think those scenes, they need to go. It's like when someone in a TV show is texting and then the texts like appear above their phone. It's a really overdone trope. It's obviously done to save time and money instead of like having to mocap or animate cutscenes. But at the same time, it's like, it just brings the gameplay to an absolute complete standstill. It's that trend needs to die. So the opening of the game, they try to bait you in by showing Menendez, who was obviously the big bad in Black Ops 2. He says some words, and then you never hear from him again. Oh, wait, no, you do, because the game has some very, very strange and weird pacing. So you'll spend a mission inside the empty Husk Warzone map, right? Where you fight the same guys wearing white over and over and over. One of them might have a shotgun, or one of them might have a sniper instead, or there might be a robot as well. And also, I want to say, the robots are pathetically easy to kill in this game. I remember in like the opening cutscene of Black Ops 3, there were like similar robots that you fought. It might even be the same brand, just to show how powerful they are against humans. There's this scene where you get like your arms broken, and I just remember it being like really gruesome. But in this game, they're weaker than the humans. You just get like a DMR sniper, you just shoot them in the head, dead instantly. And then they've got like a black variant that's like stronger, 3 headshots. And then they're down. Honestly, I prefer the Warzone missions because at least they don't lock you into a room where you have to kill all the enemies just to proceed and then go to the next room. You can actually speedrun it. You can just pull out your wingsuit and then just fly to the objective, ignoring all the enemies, because again, there is no difficulty. You take so much damage before going down. It's insane. And plus on top of that, like Warzone, you get the armor plates, so you can just like start spamming them over and over. Now, the Warzone missions, like I said, aren't the worst. The worst is half the game is all in their head. I do not know what the writers were thinking when they did this. It's almost like, okay, so everyone said when Black Ops 3 came out, the campaign was terrible, right? Because you have Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, like Reznov and stuff, and that big reveal, and then Mason and Section and Menendez. And then Black Ops 3 kind of didn't do anything like that. And it's almost like the writers tried to say a lot more than what they could express. They were talking about like, you know, like AI, uploading your consciousness, you know, transhumanism, what it means to be human. There were a lot of themes that went over the average COD player's head. I feel like whoever wrote Black Ops 6 saw like one video essay uploaded in the past 3 years that said Black Ops 3, the campaign, was actually misunderstood and thought, I've got it. We're going to do that, but make it even worse. So, like, half the campaign is Warzone. The other half is, like, these all-in-the-head sequences. Like, each character is discovering their own trauma. You've obviously got Section, Mason that you play as. And then the other 3 characters, I don't really remember. There's this woman called 50/50. And I'm not sure if she was in, like, a previous COD game or maybe a Warzone character. But she is basically Wonder Woman. And I'm not doing the whole thing of, like, oh, there's a woman in the game, it's woke. No, there is literally a scene where she deflects, like, this gunfire or these missiles, like, with her arm, which is exactly what Wonder Woman did. Like, you know, that kind of bracelet thing that she had. It's the exact same thing. They're really trying to force this character a lot as well. Like, there's this one boss fight at the end of the game where you have to destroy where this woman is, like, hiding, this, like, little base that she's got. And anytime you down a drone, even though I was playing single player as Mason, whenever you went up to the drone, the cutscene would be her. And it is her, like, I thought it had switched to each character, but it's only her every single time. It's not even like it's randomly generated. It's like they really tried to make her, like, kind of the main character here. It just doesn't make any sense. Why is it her cutscene, bro? Like, she's not even in the game. Should be Mason's, if anything. I know this video is all over the place. I don't have a script. I'm kind of rambly. I will get into the all-in-the-head bits in a second. I know I need to do that. But one thing I remembered is I mentioned, like, you know, like Mason's in the game, Woods. Okay, so this is where the game makes no sense at all, right? So Harper from Black Ops 2 is one of your squad mates, one of the co-op characters. But also, Karma, the hacker, also makes a cameo. This makes absolutely no sense. Because Harper and Karma never live in the same timeline. If you want Karma to live to get the best ending, Harper has to die. And if you save Harper, then Karma ends up being shot in that, you know, in that really pivotal scene on the boat. So this doesn't make sense. There is no single ending in Black Ops 2, from what I remember, that both of these characters live. One of them has to die so the other can live. So even that is just like a complete canon break. I mean, again, we're not playing Call of Duty for the canon. I understand that. It blows my mind how no one even checked this. I'm not sure if they're doing like a kind of Marvel, like, what if scenario or something like that. So about the all-in-the-head sequences, they're not short. They are half the game. And they are just absolutely atrocious. So you might remember that, like, chemical agent Nova 6 that was, like, kind of tying all the Call of Duty Black Ops games together. It was featured in Black Ops 1 and then 2. And it was basically the only thing in Black Ops 3 that linked the other games together because there were no returning characters in that game. Instead of the gas being yellow, they've now made it red. And it's called Cradle for some reason. And what it does, it basically breaks your mind down, gives you psychosis, turns you insane, makes you lose all your memories. I mean, it seems really like villainy to make an agent like that. They could have just done something like Agent Orange and just, like, killed you pretty much. But yeah, I mean, writing. So every single mission then gets, like, cut off before you doing the next objective because you spend 40 minutes being stuck in your own head. And it's like these platforming sequences. Call of Duty seems to really love these hallucinations sequences. I know it's a plague on video games at the minute. I mean, it was even in, like, you know, Dying Light, for example, and that was like one of my most favorite games. But one of the first hallucination sequences is terrible because it features, I think it's Mason, Alex, trying to beat his negative memory of Raul Menendez. How does he do it? You remember in Black Ops 2 when you played as Raul for a very short period of time and he had a machete, right, that he used to cut people with, right? That was his, like, iconic thing. There are gigantic machetes that are flying in from the sky and landing on you instead of an airstrike. Machete! Yeah, remember, like, when they had airstrikes as kill streaks? Remember that? Now it's machetes. And then later on, when you fight him as a boss, you can use the same machetes against him. Like it's some kind of, like, discount airstrike. Like, just to show how much they don't even care about this game as well. Call of Duty has been, like, infamous for its, like, really immersive cutscenes, you know, like choking people out or doing takedowns and stuff like that. You know, like that really cool scene where I think it was Woods or Mason confronts a young Raul and he kind of, like, shoots him, like, in the cheek, no, in the eye, like when he spins around and then jumps out before a grenade goes off. You can switch to a third-person view in this game, and it just looks like Fortnite. I'm not even joking you. Look at that animation, man. It's like playing Dying Light in third person. Now, I get it, like third person, it's not like a deal breaker. I mean, like the new Resident Evil game, that's going to have a third person view you can switch to. But that's obviously a choice that they took time into thinking about. It's not an afterthought like in this game. Like, these all-in-the-head sequences are actually so terrible. And I get it. I know it's like a really overdone trope, but they usually lead into a boss fight. Now, there are actually boss fights in this game. I'm not talking about like an elite enemy or anything like that, like actual bosses. Like, for example, VODS, right? Infamous Call of Duty character. They brought his voice actor back. Poor man, I genuinely feel so bad for him, like how bad the franchise has gone. I hope he got a good paycheck. But you fight him as this thing called the Nightmare. If I shown you a picture of this enemy, you would think this is from Resident Evil, right? You would not think that this is from Call of Duty. This isn't like a Warzone event, by the way. This is an actual, like, this is the actual campaign. There is so much asset flipping in this game. Like, the zombies, asset flip from zombies. Vorkuta! Reused assets! There's even this one point where, like, there's like an elder priest zombie that appears, and I was asking chat, like, is this an asset flip? This doesn't even feel like it belongs in this game. Like, I get it. They're on this cradle drug. They're tripping balls. But I feel like I'm playing an entirely different game here. Like, there's this one mission as well where you're in Japan and you play as a completely different squad of characters. Place Japan. Again, like, they seem to have pretty big personalities. I'm guessing they're from, like, Warzone or something. I had this theory when I was playing through the game, and it's almost like this was meant to be, like, a Warzone event or, like, a mobile game, because they've done mobile games in the past. And then they thought, let's add a little bit more content, recycle some more to make it, like, you know, that kind of, like, 5 to 8 hour length. And then we can package it with Black Ops 7 and say it's a campaign. Like, you know, Modern Warfare 2, protecting Burger Town, COD 4, Mile High Club. That era's gone. That era's completely gone. Now we have this, like, dead, empty, open sandbox map, and then the only thing that they actually put time into is these, like, all-in-the-head sequences that are just terrible. Like, there was one really cool scene, like one of the later missions, which is all-in-the-head, where you're in LA, the exact same LA where you were trying to protect the president in Black Ops 2. And I thought, oh, this is, like, pretty cool. But then you realize you're just fighting the same enemies. It's just, like, weird hallucination zombies, robots as well. Do you remember, like, in the Cold War campaign, how they went down the route of, like, kind of supernatural towards the end, of, like, this woman fighting her inner demons and stuff? This is the entire game now. It's not like this small thing where it's like, that's out of place, but okay, sure. No, this is basically the entire game. It's all in the head. And then there's, like, these really bizarre choices as well. Like, if you need to open, like, a terminal or something like that, you've got to do these, like, really crappy, like, the only thing I can compare it to is, like, a BioShock pipe puzzle. Do you remember those puzzles? How everyone hated them? I mean, they were fun the first couple of times, but if you were metagaming, you wanted to get every discount at every vending machine, hack every turret, hack every flying drone turret. It just became, like, nauseating to the point that you just did not want to do it anymore. There aren't too many of these hacking puzzles, but they just feel completely brain dead. The main thing I don't understand as well is this campaign. They've obviously advertised it as a co-op campaign. They have not said at any point it's single player, but the environments feel so small. Like, you know, the corridors, the arenas, they don't feel like they could fit 4 players. But more on the boss fights, they reuse a lot of them as well. Like, you've got these VTOLs. I think you fight them like 3 times throughout the game, despite the fact that you can normally take them down when you're in, like, the kind of Warzone area with enough firepower. So I'm not sure why they had to be a boss. But one of the most cringe boss fights you've got in the game is Harper. Harper has this, like, kind of anger management moment where he gets really angry under the cradle gas because he remembers killing Javier Salazar. Salazar was obviously a guy who's in your squad, and then you find out during this big betrayal he was actually working for Menendez the entire time. And again, they don't seem to confirm whether Harper actually killed Salazar there. But again, it doesn't make sense because for Harper to be at that point in the game near the end on a ship called the Obama, it's actually called the Obama, I'm not even joking. For him to be there to shoot Salazar, Karma has to be killed. They cannot both exist in the same continuity. Like, I even did an entire bit on stream explaining how this doesn't make any sense. She always dies. The only way to keep her alive is to keep Fareed alive, and he takes the bullet. So they can't both have lived. So it does not make sense. Karma and Harper cannot be alive in the same game. And most of the objectives in the game are just trash. You know how Call of Duty is usually you're in a facility or like, an urban setting and you're killing enemies, going to the next area, killing enemies. It's pretty monotonous, but at least there's like a story that engages you. Here, it's just like wave defense garbage over and over. Like, activate this objective and then wait 5 minutes while it uploads. And then you'll fight like these bosses that go into like the downed position. The entire game is a Warzone asset flip, like through and through. He's like down like in Warzone, man. He just got up. Now, I did mention that the enemies are spongy as well, but like the guns in the game are just, they're so weak compared to enemies, especially the zombie enemies. You get like a pump action shotgun at one point and you think, okay, I can get some pretty good kills with this. It takes like 4 rounds to kill a single zombie, or they're charging you. And this is a gun that you need to reload each shell individually into. It's not like a magazine or anything like that. It's just complete trash. The entire campaign really is just an asset flip. You've even got like the spider zombies from Black Ops 6. They have been recycled and used as enemies in this game. And also, again, like we talk about the Call of Duty campaigns for immersion and stuff. I do love every 5 seconds how it tells me I've leveled up, or because I've used the gun for more than 5 seconds, I've unlocked like a city camo or like a digital camo. Oh, I got the foliage camo at least, thank God. There are so many intrusive pop-ups in this game. Like every enemy you kill, you get XP. It just, I am amazed that they even called this a campaign. Like you've got these ammo caches as well where you take ammo from. I mean, that's pretty common in games. But then when you take it, even though you can see the ammo boxes, there's like a cooldown for like 120 seconds or something like that. They have basically turned the campaign into an arcade mode. It basically is an arcade mode. I mean, honestly, they didn't do it, but to put like the cherry on top, there should have been like a score tracker on the top right of the screen the entire time telling you like who's in the leaderboard. I know I said it's an asset flip, but I found out pretty early on that they were just not even reusing enemies, but entire animations. Like for example, you know, with this cradle gas, it's people experiencing their past trauma, their memories. Like for example, with Section, it's regarding his dad. His memories have been like contorted. Because Mason, that you played as in Black Ops 1, went to Vorkuta, that amazing mission, if you remember, with Reznov, where you're like escaping this gulag with all these prisoners. They just asset flip it. They reuse the exact same animations of these people opening the door that are now zombies. And then also later on in the game, the zombies team up with you. So like you've got these like friendly zombies that are killing the guild being like the main bad guys in the campaign. And again, like spoiler alert for anyone that was really going to play through the campaign, you get the bad guy who's this woman that I don't even know or care about. And then it does that really cringe thing that a lot of games are doing now where it's open-ended. It's like, yeah, we got her, but there's still more to do. You know, there's like no actual conclusive ending there. I mean, like a great example is like COD Ghosts, right? People hated that game. People still do hate that campaign. They think it's one of the worst COD campaigns ever.
There ain't gonna be any ghosts.
You know, with like the main bad guy, like kind of grabbing you at the end as like, oh, there's still more to do. But this is so much worse. Because we know we're just not going to get any more content out of this. I just don't think I've played a COD campaign in my life where the AI has been more brain dead. Like they will stack up on each other. Their friends will get dropped right next to each other and just have literally light work, no reaction. They don't react to anything you do in this game. And I feel like the devs knew this. So instead of like trying to fix the AI and make it actually like manageable, feeling like you're fighting a force, they just cranked up their health. So each one becomes a bullet sponge. You also get these abilities in the game as well, like this kind of like kill streaks, I guess, that you can use once, like, you know, like deploying a turret and stuff, which is fine. I mean, that's been in previous COD games. But then you'll get stuff like being able to jump higher, or for example, I mean, one of my personal favorites in the game, one of the few small pleasures I had when playing it was the, I called it the Amazon drones. You'd put down these drones and they'd basically fly into whoever was nearby and explode. That actually became a lifesaver because obviously, you know, towards the end of the game, you're dealing with like 20 or so enemies that have like 4 separate health bars each. And what I don't get with the flashback sequences as well, like the all in the head sequences, like one of them, for example, you'll play as Woods and you're in like, you know, the Vietnam jungle, like, you know, the proper gritty, but instead of fighting like, you know, Vietnamese soldiers, you're just fighting the same guild guys, these guys wearing all white, and they are like so boring, so forgettable. This is a series of bad guys that have absolutely no identity whatsoever. And also, you know, when I said they gamified it a lot, when you're playing like any other Call of Duty campaign, a bad guy when you kill them, they'll drop their gun, right? And then you'll stand over that gun, you'll get ammo, like maybe assault rifle ammo, SMG ammo, maybe you can even swap the gun. They don't allow that. When you kill an enemy in this game, you'll just get this floating box of like ammo that you can pick up, and their gun disappears. You actually get guns by going to these like boxes where it basically randomly generates 2 guns for you to pick. Do you want this gun or that gun? It just feels like randomized for the sake of it. It feels like you're playing an arcade mode, not an actual campaign. And then there's other examples as well. Like, again, I was playing single player, and whenever I went down, you've got like a self-revive that you can use on yourself, right? So whenever I'd go down, enemies would just... It's like I was using the Harry Potter invisibility cloak. They just forgot I existed. You know, usually in Warzone and stuff like that, if they're trying to copy it so much, enemies would keep shooting you or try and do a finisher on you. But instead, they just forget you exist, so you can happily use this syringe. I've even used this before to cheese the game. There was one point where there was like a countdown for me to try and survive a minute before like a friendly VTOL showing up. And I went down and thought, why am I going to get up? Because if I get up, they're going to shoot me. So I'm just going to lie here and wait until the timer expires. There is like a disgusting amount of nostalgia baiting here as well. Like there's this one mission as well where you play on the hijack map. And that was like the most infamous map in Black Ops 2 multiplayer. That is like ingrained into people's memory. And they have like a section on that. And that section has stealth, right? And if you try and do a stealth takedown, you do the exact same long-winded takedown over and over. Your guns are silenced, right? But don't shoot them with the assault rifle or the SMG you've been given because they're so beefy, a headshot won't kill them and they'll get alerted. No, you'll have to use the sniper rifle instead. He just... You are just... Oh. He had to do the triple take. He was like... Huh? Again, enemies have no agency. They will just rush you over and over because they know like they're meat sponges. They can soak up all of these bullets. You can kill 2 guys with 1 magazine, and then you have to reload immediately after. The biggest hindrance this game has is the fact you have to reload instead of just like shooting constantly, because then the game would probably be like 2% more enjoyable because you could finish it sooner. Like you'll get these abilities and stuff as well, like you know, the ability to revive all teammates near you. Again, if you're playing single player, it's just completely pointless. I know I ribbed on about the boss fights a lot as well, but there is this truly terrible boss fight where you've got to take out this turret, you've got to disable its shield with an EMP, and it is just a bullet sponge. It is one of the most unfun experiences I have ever had with a boss fight. I genuinely think this boss had more HP than Dark Eater Medea in Dark Souls 3. And they really try and shock you with all these like twists and turns in the game as well. Like you'll play as a guy for one mission and then you find out that he's actually the bad guy. And then it leads to like a really just horrendous boss fight where he's like teleporting around and you shoot him until he falls over and then he dies. He completely falls over, like dead, like I shot him in the head. He didn't ragdoll. He didn't go into a downed pose like other bosses we've had. He just dies. And then he's completely fine in the next cutscene, only to then be shot afterwards anyway. He ragdolled and he's not dead. Okay, now he's dead. Well, I did shoot him 20 times in the head. Like, there are certain points where you think, wait a minute, it could get good. Like, there's these huge mechs that you see, and it's like, yeah, we need to take control of these mechs, guys. We gotta, like, storm the base. And then when you take control of the mech, it's completely stationary. You can't move, and you just use it to shoot a door, spam it a couple of times, and then that's it. I did also mention the abilities earlier, and, like, you know, some of them are okay. Like, yeah, you can revive, but then some of them are just pointless. Like, you've got the Black Hat ability, which was an actual device you could use in the multiplayer as, like, a perk, or, like, a tech item. This can be used to hack stuff, right? So you can hack a drone and it does seemingly nothing, like absolutely nothing. And then you can also use it to hack robots to like stun them or to kill them. But by the time it takes the bar to load up, I'm not sure whether it's using like AOL or something. You can literally just shoot them in the head and they'll be dead anyway. Because the thing is, in this game, like I said, if you're not getting headshots, enjoy dumping an entire mag into an enemy for them to go down. You need to have headshots here to be able to do anything. But yeah, honestly, like this campaign, I am just blown away by how god-awful horrendous it is. Like, even at the end of the game as well, like in the post-credits scene, it reveals that, like, you didn't actually get the real bad guy. There's this other big bad guy called Dawn. And how do I know his name's Dawn? Because on the subtitles, it says Dawn Angry Breathing. It feels like Parody. One final thing as well, I was about to head off to bed for the night, but then I realized, like, the laziness of this game. Obviously, there's so many characters that you don't care about. Then I tried the multiplayer and realized they're all characters in Warzone. So it, you know, you can tell that the campaign was an afterthought, but it gets even worse. Like, I found this post here on Plebit, and you can see here, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is littered with AI art slop. And if you look at this, you can so obviously tell it's AI. It's like that garbage that people use online, that Studio Ghibli fantasy. So they didn't even train their own model. They basically just stole from like DALL-E and stuff like that. It's just embarrassing. So yeah, how am I going to wrap up this video? The only good thing was the Amazon drones and Anderson, the operator. She's got a really fat ass. If someone could draw her, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, thanks.